Dialectical behavior therapy was created in the 1980s by Marsha Linehan in Seattle, Washington.
Today, DBT is taught all over the world.
We're two therapists who believe everyone can benefit from DBT skills.
I'm Kate.
I'm Michelle.
And this is DBT and Me. Hello, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
And welcome to a mini episode. We're very excited to have an opportunity to talk to you guys about the revised editions of the handouts and the training manual, which I know there's been a lot of hubbub about in our Facebook community and everywhere, really, I think that has anything to do with DBT these days. And also talk about our affiliate code, our new relationship with Guilford Press, about which we are very excited also. So Michelle and I are both going to talk about one of them each, give some of our impressions, as well as what Guilford Press themselves has to say about it. And yeah, I think you're first, Michelle.
All right, I am first. And also, in case you are coming to this episode and you're like, what do you mean? Skills training manual? What are you guys talking about? The skills training manual is what Marsha Linehan wrote about how to teach DBT. This is the starting point for introducing DBT to the world. And it's gone through a couple different editions since DBT was first created. But yeah, like Kate said, we're going to be talking about these revised editions today. And that was something that Guilford Press, when we spoke with our contact there, made clear, right? These are not
very specific
new editions, right? A lot of the material in both of the titles that we're going to be talking about is almost exactly the same as the edition from a few years ago. But we really want to talk about what purpose each of these serves if people have never seen these before or want to consider purchasing them, and some of the updates that we did notice and things that we liked. And we want to start off with, I'm going to be talking about the DBT Skills Training Manual, but I'm first going to read what Guilford Press has on their website. So this is not Kate and I's language. This is written by Guilford Press, so straight from the horse's mouth about what you can expect from the training manual. And then I'll share my thoughts afterwards. So they talk about the training manual as being the definitive skills training manual embraced by DBT practitioners worldwide. Is now in a revised edition, reflecting important shifts in language, technology, and daily life. All skills, guidelines, and examples have been retained from the best-selling second edition, with updates throughout to enhance usability and inclusivity. In a convenient 8.5 by 11-inch format, the book provides complete instructions for orienting clients to DBT, structuring group sessions, troubleshooting common problems, and tailoring skills training curricula for different settings and populations. It offers detailed teaching notes for the full range of mindfulness, interpersonal effectiveness, emotion regulation, and distress tolerance skills, and describes how to use the associated handouts and worksheets. Handouts and worksheets are not included in this book. They could be found in the related volume, which is what Kate's going to be talking about when it's her turn.
Ding, ding, ding.
And here's the truth that may surprise a lot of you. When I was first getting introduced to hey, want to be our DBT facilitator in community mental health? Well, I guess I should take that back. I did have access to the first edition of the skills training manual. I mean, the one with the red background and the black outline of a face.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
That's what they were using when I went through it. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's the old school one. But then when the second edition came out, I never got it. I never looked at the second edition of the DBT Skills Training Manual, and it is robust and it's very detail oriented and goes into a lot of things. So I don't really have a good comparison between this revised edition and when the regular second edition came out to speak to. So full disclosure there. But looking at the revised edition, I am going to share what stood out to me and what I liked. The other thing that I do really want to emphasize that it does say in the Guilford Press description I just read, but I'm going to highlight it, right? It says, this is the skills training manual embraced by DBT practitioners worldwide. If you are not a provider of DBT, if you are not a clinician, if you are not a group facilitator, this is not the book to get. We have other books to recommend for you to learn DBT. This book is to help DBT practitioners implement DBT skills with clients. That is the purpose of this. So if you're not doing that work, you can ignore a lot of what I'm about to say because it doesn't apply to you, and we want to make that clear. One thing that there were a couple things that I liked about it. Not that I read it cover to cover because it is hundreds and hundreds of pages, but a couple things that I noticed right away that jumped out to me is that in the beginning, it has a cheat sheet, is what I'm calling it, where for every skill, it lists exactly the handouts and the worksheet numbers that you need from what Kate's going to be talking about.
I wasn't reading that right. That's so cool. Okay.
Yes. It's just, it has this really clear, concise list of like, if this is the skill.
That's fabulous.
These are the handouts of the worksheets. And of course, naturally, because these are the revised editions, the handout and worksheets numbers in this one line up with the revised edition for the skills training handouts and worksheets. So that's super convenient. I also really liked that it suggested, which kind of surprised me. I was like, oh, is Marcia really okay with that? I guess so. That there were lots of different schedules for what order you can teach the skills in. You know, Kate has now shifted the group that she does into doing an exclusive mindfulness module, but you also still sprinkle in mindfulness. For now, I think you do it 2 weeks. Or is it still only 1 week of mindfulness?
It's 1 week usually, but in the, I think I include bits in others. So like in the interpersonal effectiveness module, I now include a mindfulness of others, right, as a piece of it. Okay. So I've sort of expanded, maybe not the explicit week, but I've expanded where I pull mindfulness in to the other modules.
Cool. Okay, that's great. Yeah, and it, in the skills training manual, gave, I mean, like, I think, don't quote me on this. I don't have the training manual open in front of me. I left it at home today. Oops, right when I need it. Kate has it. But I think it gave like 5 different ideas for like, there's all these different ways that you can organize your groups as far as how many weeks the group runs, what skills you want to teach in what order. It was certainly not like, this is the only order in which to teach the skills. There were a number of different ways to do it, and I really liked that. Also, Kate, as you're skimming through, which I can see, it's towards the beginning, so you shouldn't have to go too far.
Yeah, I'm looking. It seems like maybe planning to conduct DBT skills training or structuring skills training sessions. Let's see.
Yeah, it might be the structuring the skills training sessions. But I just thought that was cool, that there's a variety of options that it names that you can pick from when you're designing your group for what order you want to teach skills in and how many weeks and all that stuff. And the general way that the book is structured, it's 10 chapters, if I'm remembering right off the top of my head. The first 5 chapters, I'm not going to lie, right? It's really dense. It's a lot of information to read through, and it can be really daunting to look at. But especially if you're a first-time facilitator and you are feeling really overwhelmed by the process of conducting a DBT group and you're like, I'm worried about this, I'm worried about that. That's what these chapters are for you, because it goes over a lot of the potential challenges. It talks about diary cards. It talks about group expectations and guidelines. It talks about a lot of things that you want to make sure you have in place so that your group can be successful and function well. And then the second part of the manual, chapters 6 through 10, that's all about the different modules, right? So there's, and now that I'm realizing that, My math is a little off because there's only 4 modules, but that's 5 chapters. Maybe I got my numbers a little off there. 6 through 9, maybe it is. I'm not 100% sure. But the second part of the book, there's a chapter devoted to each module, right? So there's a chapter for mindfulness, there's a chapter for emotional regulation, etc. And within each of those chapters, it really talks you through different exercises that you can incorporate in your groups, different ways to teach the skills, different discussion questions. It gives you a lot of good material so that you're going to make your group engaging and interesting for participants. So I really liked that it had all those ideas. And as I was just skimming through it, I was like, would I be a total, I don't think I'd be that different, but I was like, what if I had actually looked at this when it came out? What if I had the regular second edition copy in my hands all this time to look at? Would it have changed things? Maybe. It probably would have led us to be like, hey, we don't know what activity to lead for this skill. Let's look in the skills training manual because it has lots of ideas.
We made so much shit up.
We made a lot of stuff up, which I think, has worked and
Go us. Yes.
been beneficial for the participants in our group. And
In many
also,
regards, yes.
it's all right here for you if you want to do a group yourself. Or again, it has just good ideas too. If you're wanting to implement DBT more with your individual clients, great ideas there too of some of the activities you could do with them for different skills. So that's what the skills training manual is. But I'm going to now turn it over to you, Kate, to talk about the skills training handouts and worksheets, the spiral bound book.
Revised edition.
Revised edition.
All right. So I will start the same way Michelle did, which is giving you the verbatim blurb from their website. This says, in the revised edition of this indispensable resource, the handouts and worksheets for each skill are grouped together, making the book even easier to use. Clients get quick access to the tools needed for learning and practicing any dialectical behavior therapy skill. All 4 DBT modules are included: mindfulness, interpersonal effectiveness, emotion regulation, and distress tolerance, each with a brief introduction written expressly for clients. In a convenient spiral-bound 8.5 by 11 format, the book features more than 225 reproducible handouts and worksheets. The materials are updated throughout The materials are updated throughout to feature more inclusive language and reflect changes in technology and daily life. I don't know why that was such a mouthful for me. But no, they start with the same thing that I was going to start with before we decided we were going to grab the blurbs from the website also, which is the worksheets and handouts for each skill are grouped together now. I don't know. Okay. So I gather that this is to an extent how much of a DBT teaching geek are you? But at least according to the marketing person we talked to, most people that he's told that to went, like just this huge exhalation of relief. Like you and I made the exact same face and noise, Michelle, and it was so unfeigned, right? Like I might have not done it if I'd been thinking about restraining myself slightly. Now it's such a fucking game changer, guys, to have them actually grouped together instead of just all of the handouts in order of the skills in one part and then all of the worksheets together in the other half. That was such a bad idea, guys. I'm so sorry. Anyway, so much better now. I'm very excited about it. That genuinely, I could talk for an inappropriate amount of time about how excited I am that those are actually grouped together in a way that makes sense. One thing that I've noticed, but I cannot entirely explain, but I noticed immediately when I picked it up, the old one was 410 pages. The new one is 365. I don't know where they went.
I don't really know either because all of the stuff still seems to be there.
And you don't even have aphantasia, right? So, maybe they took out 1 or 2 of the redundant ones, or maybe, I don't know. I don't know what they took out, but it's shorter now, more concise.
And we like that.
Aerodynamic. I don't know. It's lovely. Some updates were in fact made to the pleasant events list. I think that's something Michelle and I have been talking about for a hot minute, is hoping that piece gets more tied to not the future, but the time in which we actually live, which is the future from when it was written. More modern. There we go. I too can speak. Yeah, let's see. What else is exciting about this? I mean, not exciting, but just something like that you said, Michelle, that I realized I skipped over at the beginning. I would, if you are a client and you're wanting to learn DBT, this is not the one for doing that. If you really just want to save whoever's, I guess, leading your group money on making copies, you could get this with something else to go along with a group. But just reading through this book is not the way to go to fully learn DBT. I am very excited that it said, how many times can I say very excited in one fucking thing? Sorry, I'm in my head today, guys. I have enthusiasm, great piles of it, for the idea that they have those brief introductions now at the beginning of each module, like they talked about in the blurb. That seems very cool to me. And also, I don't expect those blurbs to be enough to teach you the entirety of the skills for the whole module. So it's not where I would start. That being said, if you're someone who has already gone through the a group or two and you just want to have copies of the worksheets and stuff like that so you can make copies for yourself and fill them out regularly, this is a great resource. If you're like some of my clients who might go through the group several times and just want to have all the handouts and I can just tell them which page to look at in the book instead of them actually getting physical handouts, that can absolutely work. There's definitely reasons to have this book as a client, and I think I would be remiss if I didn't, like Michelle, say this is not the starting point for, by itself at least. It is not in and of itself as a standalone book, the start and end of learning DBT. I do love that you confessed for us, Michelle, that we don't know the other one. I will deepen my confession. This may not be at all true for you, but the reason I didn't own it previously is because I never noticed that it was for clinicians. I thought it was for clients. I thought it was
the skills training manual.
Yeah, I did. I thought it was sort of like I don't know what it's called, but the light green book, right? Like that I used when I went through my DBT as a client. I really thought that this was a thing like that that's what the training manual was. I don't know why, because now if I think too hard about it, and the name is pretty obvious, but I didn't pick it up because I thought it was for clients to work through. So why would I need it?
Yeah. And dear. I've had people over the years, like clients of mine who, they hear about DBT and they get really interested. And, these rank pretty high on a Google search, as they should, right? These are the books written by Marsha. Like, these should pop up first when you're Googling, books, DBT books. These are the ones. And yes, how many people have ordered these who are brand new to DBT and then been like, what have I done? This is so not what I was
impenetrable. It'd be impenetrable if you just bought these for yourself is the only thing, I think.
Yeah. And yet on the other side of it, again, if you are a practitioner, you cannot
don't do what we did.
Function at least without the skills training handouts and worksheets.
Absolutely.
And after, really, really getting my actual hands on the training manual, I would say you need that too. Even if you don't spend a whole lot of time in the first few chapters of that one, you should definitely spend some time in the later half of that book when it's getting into the nitty-gritty of each module and how to really teach it. So,
juicy stuff. So we did mention that we were also here to talk about our affiliate code, which we are very excited to be piloting for Guilford Press. Maybe Michelle, I shouldn't speak for you. I feel so special. Like the podcast is so special that we're the first people to get an affiliate code.
First affiliates. It's really exciting.
It makes me happy. But one of the cooler things about it, and what's going to lead into the next little section here where Michelle and I are each going to talk about a book we recommend, is that, yes, there's a truly large quantity of DBT-related books that Guilford Press puts out, and I would go splash around like a happy fish in a pond in that listing, definitely. But the more cool thing is that our code is good for the entire site. All of their books and ebooks the code works for, not just DBT related stuff. So as much as we are obviously DBT focused as this podcast, I know that a lot of people we talk to, are other practitioners, or maybe like, I know there's people in school that have written to us before. So this could be a really great resource for stocking up on books on so many different subjects. I honestly felt a little bit silly. I knew Guilford Press put out the skills training manual, etc., but I didn't realize just how many titles they have that are specifically like you have to scroll to get through the list of topics they have in psychology that they then have books in each of those topics. It's wild. Yeah. So we're picking a couple that we from the heaps and mounds and piles of them that we would like to recommend. Michelle, would you like to go first?
Yeah, I will go first. The other quick thing I'll add on to what you're saying about just Guilford Press as a publishing company is like I had so many textbooks through them when I was in school. Like for my graduate program, when I look over at my bookshelf for any of the textbooks I still have, like probably 50% of them are like Guilford Press. Like they are
that could save a lot of money then.
A lot of money to use our code because it's going to get you 15% off of anything on their website. And it's good through the end of 2026. So use it as many times as you need to whether it's, again, more fun, light reading, or whether it's like, oh, this is a book I actually need because I'm a student and I'm being advised to get this for my psychology class. Guilford Press is where you're going to wind up most of the time. So
that's really cool.
But on to the book that I came across when I was scrolling through their website that I was like, oh, that's so exciting, that I wanted to recommend to all of you. It is a book that's not even out yet. It is coming out right around the corner. November 12th is the release date, but it is a DBT book. So, it's about DBT. And it's called Real Skills for Real Life by Shireen L. Rizvi and Jesse Finkelstein. And if any of you just heard me say Jesse Finkelstein, why is that ringing a bell? That's because Jesse was a guest on the podcast about a year ago. And Jesse recorded an episode titled Making DBT More Accessible and Approachable. That episode was released on October 9th, 2024. And I was so excited that Jesse co-authored a book that's getting published by Guilford Press. And, I wish I had. I didn't. I don't want to take time out of us recording to do it. I wish the same way that we copy and pasted the descriptions from the Guilford Press website. I wish I had copy and pasted the description for this book. Obviously, I haven't read it yet. It's not out, but you can go on and pre-order it now. So if you go on Guilford Press's website and search, they have a search option as many websites do these days. You could just search for Real Skills for Real Life. The title of the book should pop right up. It's like a blue background for the book. But I loved having Jesse on as a guest. So even though I haven't read it, I feel like I know a little bit about who Jesse is, what he's about. And just the title alone, I think, shows that a book like this, I feel pretty confident saying, is going to be in line with what Kate and I are so passionate about, which is that we don't just want people to learn what DBT is. We want them to feel confident being able to actually use it and
implement it.
Yeah, implement it and feel like you can make it work for you. Not that you have to do it like buy the book and exactly what it says, that you can really adapt and adjust DBT for your real life, like it says in the title. So if you're interested in that, you can go on and pre-order it before it officially comes out on November 12th. So Jesse, if you're listening to this, congratulations. That's super exciting that you have a book coming out into the world very soon. Yeah. So that's my recommendation.
Yay.
But what about you, Kate? What did you come across on the website that you wanted to make sure our listeners know about?
I did. This is just one of my favorite books. I've definitely tried to get into the hands of more clients than I've been successful about, but I try a lot. And I was so excited to find out that it was put out by Guilford Press. And that's the Mindful Self-Compassion Workbook by Kristen Neff and Christopher Germer. This is not a new one,
no.
but it's one of the sort of holy texts of mindful self-compassion, which is, other than DBT, one of the main ways that I work with clients in my own practice. And one of the things that, honestly, if you've ever liked me saying, don't or stop being a dick to yourself, this is the book to really help you learn to stop being a dick to yourself. So super excited to find out. Super excited so many times today. I am ebullient about there being, that being part of their catalog. That's the word I want. Part of their catalog. So yay.
Yeah. Yep. The mindful self-compassion work. When I saw it, I was like, oh, that's a Guilford Press book, which again shouldn't be surprising because they are the foremost publisher for so many psychology and self-help books. But I still was like, oh, that's great.
Yeah.
It's great that it's
you know me. You knew I wanted that one.
Yes, I knew you would want to talk about that one. I was like, this is awesome. Yeah, a great introduction to mindful self-compassion for people who want to learn more. So if you've been with us all this time, now you're probably wondering, okay, Kate and Michelle, what is the code? If I want to go on and either get the skills training manual or the handouts and worksheets, spiral bound book, or either the books we just recommended or anything else on their website, the code is DBTME, all in caps. So 5 letters, DBTME. We're going to put this link down in the show notes. We're also going to post it in our Facebook group. The exact URL that you can go to if you like is, guilford.com/DBTMe. Once you put that in, the page that it will take you to is immediately going to show you the training manual and the handouts and worksheets. But even if you are not going to purchase either of those, once you're on that page, once you start clicking around and searching for other titles and stuff on the website and you start adding things to your cart, it's automatically going to apply the 15% off. So that's just a great place to start. Otherwise, of course, if you just go to guilford.com, just make sure you put in DBTMe at checkout so you get your discount.
15% off, which is not a joke off when it comes to things like textbooks and stuff. Jiminy Christmas.
No, it's definitely not. Like when I was looking at it, I think the training manual is like $70 or something. It saves you like $10.
Yeah.
Like that's a good deal. Any money saved is good.
Yeah. Oh, the hardcover of the training manual is $108, right?
Yeah.
So.
Fancy. Again, it's pretty essential. It's a good investment if you're a DBT practitioner. Do it. And again, like we said, if you're not, keep it moving. Find other titles on their website that speak to you about DBT or any other topics that you're interested in. But yeah, I think that's all we have for today. So we're going to wrap up this mini episode and thank all of you for being here and listening to us share our take on these revised editions. And thank you in advance for using our code if you choose to do so. We really hope that it, saves you money. Well, we know it will save you money, but just helps you get your hands on some titles that you're really interested in and could benefit from. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
To learn more about us and the DBT skills we're teaching each week, join our Facebook group. Simply log in to your Facebook profile and search for DBT and Me Podcast.